Hey there, this is Dr. Corey Gilbert with the Healthy Marriage Inner Circle and the Warrior Marriage Podcast. Join us in my free Facebook group at facebook.com/group/The Healthy Marriage. And the Warrior Marriage Podcast can be found on any of your fun, awesome listening devices and or services. Funny, the other day I walked over to Alexa and I said, Alexa, play the Warrior Marriage under podcast, and it started playing my voice. That was kind of creepy. Anyway, looking forward to serve your family. Today is a day that we need to really be thinking of what's next. We are under a quarantine. We are in a very interesting and never seen before, in at least my lifetime, time. I told my kids the other day, this is going to be on your timeline. You're going to be able to remember this time because of the impact financially and globally and lives as well. What worries me is what's next. As a mental health professional, as a therapist, as a professor, as a counselor, these different hats I wear, I worry as to what's next. Because what's next is depression, suicide, increasing anxiety disorders, financial ruin for some people, lots of fear, lots of more anxiety, lots of more stress. And what are we going to do about that? How can you and I be on the front lines of serving our friends and family that are struggling? Too often, people are struggling in silence. One population that kind of worries me are those people that they've isolated during this time, and what's going to come is they're going to stay isolated. Why? Because in that isolation, they found a new normal. They kind of slowed down, and even though it's not what they necessarily wanted, they're going to stay there. They're going to stay stuck there. So some of us need to just pull our friends out. Hey, you need to come out with us. Be careful what you're doing, obviously, and be smart in what you're doing with them. That you're not leading them into stuff they shouldn't be doing. But they need to be, let's go to dinner together. Let's go, something that I actually used to enjoy all the time, which is let's go bowling. Let's go do something like that. But we need that because there's going to be an increase in depression and anxiety and suicide. You and I are on the front lines serving people. If you're in any way or shape or form okay, then you are someone that's needed to be able to ask hard questions, to reach out, to be a listening ear. But here's another really weird one I see, and you probably have seen this as well. How easy is it to ask, hey, or invite, hey, come on over anytime, but they don't take you up on it, so you also never ask again. So being able to be intentional at asking over and over someone who you can tell is in need, hey, my door's open. Hey, come for dinner. Hey, come for some games. This needs to be something that we really intentionally do because this next season is going to be full of a lot of mental health issues. I personally believe that most of these mental health issues that we struggle with are symptoms, and that a lot of times we deal with those symptoms and don't we actually deal with the root causes. And so part of it could be you being on the front lines, being sitting in your living room, sitting on a park bench somewhere, talking to a friend who's really struggling, and they've put a label on it. I have anxiety, I have depression. And that label is just the tip of the iceberg. We need to get below the surface and be able to understand and talk through and work through why. Well, based off what we're going through right now, there's a lot of reasons why. There's a lot of people stressed out over their finances. They've lost their jobs. They're facing serious loneliness and fear of the future and what's next. And so this is very real. So being able to validate what they're feeling, but then go, okay, let's pull the power away from that. The way that I love to talk about it is kind of through the idea of internal family systems from Richard Schwartz. And it's the idea that we are made up of many parts. So part of us can be afraid and anxious, while another part of us is actually calm. This is where we actually are, Lord, help me with I believe, help me with my unbelief. I love that statement. That there's part of me that says, Lord, I believe you, that another part of me says, do I really? Yes. There's a lot of parts of us that are in tension, that I know I can trust you, God. At the same time, I am afraid. And so I'm being intentional about my finances or about my relationships or about my time in isolation. There's going to be an increase in drug addiction and other kinds of use of medications or other things to soothe or calm, because stress and anxiety and fear and worry don't tend to lead into good directions. And that's where really what I want us to make sure we are able to be on the front lines of serving people. I want you to be someone that's that safe person that's going to be able to reach out and help someone. Get them out of their house. Get them out of some new routine that's actually unhealthy. Also get help. There are people out there, myself included, that love to serve people and help see their story completely changed. To see them, they're on one path, and it seems like this is the only path they can choose, and show them that there's lots of exit ramps, and that they could actually have a very different tomorrow if they just take one of those exit ramps from that story and that what they're telling themselves in their head. And so being able to have a professional come in is really, really, really critical. So if that's the case, make sure you get help. If you're dealing with suicide, yes, address it head on, but get help. Get a team around you and them so that there can be success in turning their future so that people are not stuck. So many people stay stuck. I struggle with depression. I have depression. I've always had depression. And so there's that chemical piece that if I'm not careful and I don't stay going constantly in some sense, there's this darkness that seeps in, and all of a sudden I'm just sitting there doing nothing. And it's not a healthy place. My wife's been able to learn how to recognize it, address it, and go, hey, you need to take care of yourself here. And then I do, and in no time at all, I'm a different person. And we have found as a family ways to actually minimize that. This is critical for you. And then we do that all without medications, because a frontline defense is not medications. And that's where looking at these mental health disorders, I don't believe that's the main thing to solve. It's the tip of the iceberg. It's the symptom. So it's not medications are the first answer. It might be down the road, and it might be a life-saving for a brief period of time, a few weeks or a few months, to get a person into a stable place and then address the deeper stuff. But understanding that process is really, really critical. And the truth is, this is real. What we're dealing with today, where we're at today, as I've told my kids, this is going to be on their timeline in the future when you look back on 2020 and what happened in this globally, and how this impacted globally, financially, emotionally, spiritually. Are you a person of faith? And if you are, do you truly trust that God has this in your life and all those details under His control? And I hope you do. I hope this is a time you lean into friends and lean into family. I hope this is a time that you look at your bank statements or your credit card statements and you realize, what am I spending my money on? And is this really that important? What could I spend my money on that's smarter, that's more intentional? What could I be spending my time on? Where am I wasting time on something that's actually not necessarily getting me where I want to go? Which hobbies are great, but hobbies can be a distraction of greater things. Bible studies and things at church, you can be on 6 or 8 of those, and it can be a distraction of people that you need to go serve. So talking about it versus doing it. Use this time to think through your priorities, because your health, your mental health is actually critical as well. Who you have your faith in. Do you have your faith in your ability to produce? That's good, but it's not great. Do you have a faith in a God that loves you and is going to take care of every little thing? That's great. And then how are you going to not just sit around waiting on Him to do stuff, but actually be a part of what He's doing, be a part of what He's doing in other people's lives, serving people that are in greater need as well. And I hope this is encouraging to you to think about ways that you can help your friends, your family, people that are close to you that might be dealing with depression, anxiety, stress, suicidality, and this will be on the increase as we continue. So if you need anything, please reach out, healinglives.com. Let's talk. Let's actually get you into a stable place. There's a lot of resources in every city, every state, everywhere we live, for you, for your family, to help you succeed. Don't do this alone. Don't go it alone. Know that you're not alone. And I love that we have this kind of medium to be able to talk to each other and to actually serve one another. So bless you, bless your family, and may you build a family legacy that you're proud of. And may we change the world in this next step here mid-2020. Bless you.